In today's team selection video for Game Week 24, we're going to talk about the confirmed double game week in Game Week 26, which players I could sell and buy this week, as well as how I expect to line up for the Game Week 24 deadline. So, let's get into this. Welcome back to the FPL Moogs YouTube channel, and welcome to today's team selection for FPL Game Week 24. If you're brand new to the channel, go ahead and click subscribe, and don't forget to like the video as well, guys. It'll take you 2 seconds to do. It's one of the best ways to support my channel, and let's aim for 12 likes. Now, we're straight into the back line here with the triple Arsenal defensive setup, and why now is it better than ever to have triple Arsenal? Of course, if you are aware, we have had the double Game Week 26 confirmed by the Premier League. Now, we still don't fully know whether it's going to be the teams we want it to be, like Arsenal. It could also be Chelsea, which still could be a really good thing for a double Game Week 26, but we just don't know which team it's going to be, Arsenal or Chelsea. My bet's on Arsenal, with them leading going into the second leg, and also I do have triple Arsenal, so that would be quite helpful for me, and triple captain Gabriel would definitely be a thing I'm considering for that game week. Now, the moment Timber is flagged in my team, I don't think it's too much to worry about. Maybe today, after I've posted this video, we hear a bit more of an update about how Timber's doing and why he's actually got this flag here. I think it might have been because he wasn't pictured or he wasn't training just the other day before the Champions League game. We'll see how that develops. But apart from that, the triple Arsenal defence leads away from home. Super good fixture. I think the problem is I could easily see Leeds scoring at home because it's just at Ellen Road. It's a difficult place for any team to go, and I feel as though when the crowd gets behind a team like that, you know, anything's kind of possible in football. I still think Arsenal, by far, the best defence in the league, and that's just pretty much confirmed for me now. I think having triple Arsenal defence on my side is going to be a thing that I'll maybe carry, hopefully, to the end of the season. We'll see how that goes. Virgil and Anderson joining them in the back four here. I think we're playing a 4-3-3 in FPL this week. Virgil's home fixture is Newcastle, and look, Newcastle are terrible away from home. So, you know, it does give me a bit of hope for a clean sheet here, but Liverpool, it's difficult to know when they're going to turn up and when they're going to perform defensively. I mean, the Bournemouth fixture last week, we pretty much knew that Liverpool would concede. It's just one of those games where there's going to be goals in it. It happened at the start of the season. It happened again at the weekend. This time, Bournemouth clinching it at the literal final dying moments of the fixture. Newcastle at home, it doesn't scream a clean sheet for Virgil. Perhaps he can come away with defensive contributions and make me just a little bit happier, but it really wouldn't surprise me if he got 2 points this week. I still think long term, I've kind of freshened up to the idea of just keeping Virgil in my team. I think the fixtures are good enough to do so. I just would love a little bit more clean sheet potential from him every single week, similar to Gabriel and those folks around him in the team. So yeah, we'll see how Virgil goes. I think the next 2 weeks actually he has pretty hard fixtures. So yeah, not hopeful, but we'll see what happens. Anderson, Manchester United away. This is someone I don't really want to start this week, but I might have to. The bench isn't looking awfully strong, but I don't really want to transfer him out. So would it be the case that a midfielder gets transferred and then Anderson drops to the bench? We're going to talk about that just now because we're moving on to the midfielders. My midfield this week actually looks really good with some great options, and of course my captain this game week. However, my bench options in the midfield area aren't looking great. We have Bruno Fernandes, captain, the best FPL player in the entire game. You'll know why I'm saying that if you watch this week's earlier podcast on the channel. If you haven't already, definitely check it out. It's super valuable. But yes, he is my captain this week against Fulham at home. I think Manchester United are fantastic going forward now. Whether I buy more Manchester United assets than just Bruno Fernandes is something that will have to be revealed in the next few weeks. We're going to have to see more from them at this level to really warrant picking them in FPL. I mean, Dorgu was going to be an excellent buy this week, but sadly is injured for what seems like quite a long term as well, which is unfortunate. I think he was about 4.4, playing out of position. He would have been fantastic as a pick. Szoboszlai next in the midfield. I still think as a pick, he's not that bad. We look at last week, yes, 13 points, fantastic. He massively gained me rank, but I still think as a pick, just on the basis of things, he's lost penalties now. Salah's back, which is a bit annoying, but overall he still keeps everything else, set pieces, corners. I think the only worry I have is him potentially moving to right back with Frimpong having that knock. Well, actually looked like a pretty bad injury, we'll say, in the Champions League. Could he be out for a longer term like we've seen so far this season again and again? He just keeps on getting injured. So we'll see how that progresses. Maybe that's better for DEFCON for Szoboszlai, but ideally I want him to be playing in that number 10 position because he is really fantastic there. Another player who plays in that similar position is actually Enzo Fernandez. Now, Enzo Fernandez is another one where I think he should be on your buy list this week. Bruno Fernandes, Enzo are absolutely brilliant. The thing with Enzo is with Palmer having this like slight injury, and it's a really weird injury to be honest. We really don't know what's going on with him. All we know is it's a groin problem. Enzo's playing more advanced. Enzo's on penalties. I think that's 2 games in a row now for Chelsea, both in the league and the Champions League, where he scored a penalty. West Ham at home, followed by an amazing set of fixtures. For me, Enzo is absolutely fantastic to own in midfield. Now, the transfer problem we have in the midfield is Reinders is not, for me, an option. He's been on the bench countless times for me since the start of the season. And to be really fair with him and honest with you guys, when I have started him in the last 6 weeks or so, he has scored goals when I've played him. This week, do I see that happening? Do I see him starting for Manchester City? I don't. I really don't. So he stays on the bench. I'm trying to figure out how to bench Anderson this week and get a more high upside player in. Tavernier, injured. Hopefully, there's an update today, Friday, about his injury. Maybe we get him in the next few weeks. Bournemouth have a really long-term great fixture list, so maybe we get him in the next few, but we'll have to wait and see on that. There is a transfer opportunity with my side. Could I get rid of Reinders, move to Elliot Anderson, and then bench Joachim Anderson of Fulham? That could be a move I potentially make. Maybe that would even be for Tavernier, if today's update is just the case that Tavernier is out for a really long period of time. It's one of those things where we're going to have to wait on the information from the press conferences today, which is Friday, to kind of guide our transfers a bit. But I think rolling the transfer could be a really valuable option this week. Into the forward line now, we have Evan Nielsen, Haaland and Thiago. Evan Nielsen joined my side last game week in game week 23, which was an incredibly high upside move, profiting me massively with a green arrow and loads of points. Liverpool at home was his fixture. He scored a goal. Brilliant. Now he's got Wolves away and a really good long-term set of fixtures as a differential, and he's not even that expensive either. Super happy with having him in my FPL team at the moment, and he should be on pens with Tavernier still being injured. Now, Night Managers did suggest that move last game week, which I am super pleased about. Of course, if you want to check Night Managers out and get tailored advice every single week for your FPL team, check the link out in the description. Get 2 free weeks of Night Manager services if you use code FPLMOGS. They also are saying, because we did a podcast earlier in the week with the Night Managers CEO, Sam Harwood, they have Bruno Fernandes ranked number 1 as captain this week, and by a great distance as well. So that is why Haaland has the vice captaincy this game week. Spurs away from home. It's not even a bad fixture, really. It's more so the case that it's away from home for Erling Haaland. If it was at home, there's maybe a likelihood that Haaland would be the number 1 captain this week. But for this week, he is my vice-captain for Game Week 24. We need to have a little conversation about Thiago because the next 3 fixtures aren't exactly ideal. We've got Aston Villa away, Newcastle away, and Arsenal at home. Now, for me, I think long-term, going into Game Week, all the way through, to Game Week 35, Thiago is a really great option, and I don't think with the lack of free transfers I have right now, I can maybe hop off him and then hop back on. I think the move I could make is actually going to João Pedro for 4 weeks, jumping back on Thiago, till game week 35. That could be a high upside play, but I think even Thiago in these harder games, he could score a goal. He still could do quite well, and for me, he's still a long-term hold. So I'm going to save my transfers on that particular move. But again, just to recap some of the moves I could make, Reinders to Elliot Anderson could be one. Tavernier could go to Elliot Anderson as well if we know he's massively out with a long-term injury. But I think the best move and play I can make for game week 24 is just to roll the transfer this game week, captain Bruno Fernandes, and see how things play out. I think it's more so important now that we're rolling transfers going into double game week 26. There is a possibility that Chelsea win the game. So if I have a few extra free transfers at that point, maybe it will benefit me by getting a few extra Chelsea players in. We'll have to see how that plays out, but that is my team for FPL Game Week 24. Let me know in the comments what you're doing for FPL Game Week 24. Would really love to see it. Just to quickly outro the video, I will be live on Saturday for the deadline stream, so make sure you're looking out for that. If you enjoyed this video though, make sure you've dropped a like, and if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click that sub button for future FPL content and FPL streams. But that is everything for today's video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.